Ooh, hell yeah. Dude, I'm happy. Today we're going to be taking a look at a returning exotic weapon we have here in Forsaken, the Lord of Wolves exotic shotgun. And this again used to be in Destiny 1 as a reward for completing the Prison of Elders exotic bounty, the Elder Cipher. And to really understand and get some good knowledge of the Lord of Wolves, we're going to be comparing it to its old version and some other shotguns in Destiny 2. But starting out, we're going to get into how to obtain the Lord of Wolves. So to get this gun, you're going to want to go to Spider and pick up these wanted bounties. And I'm pretty sure depending on the tier of the wanted bounties, the higher you go, the more of a chance you have of getting either this or the Queenbreaker. So you pretty much just buy as many wanted bounties as you can and complete them and hope RNG gives you one of the two guns. So the Lord of Wolves has always been a novelty type weapon since the first Destiny, and I don't think anything has changed about that so far. In its previous version, it functioned pretty much the same way, shooting 5-round bursts that had some pretty good range and accuracy. And it had different perks you can choose from in each column depending on your needs and how you like to play. You know, the better system, but we aren't going to get into that. But the main difference is its intrinsic perk in Destiny 1 called Devil's Touch. Kills with this weapon rally nearby allies with +3 recovery. Now I personally like this better than the intrinsic perk we have here in Destiny 2, which is Release the Wolves. Defeating an enemy doubles the number of projectiles per burst in a short period of time. Now this doesn't mean you'll shoot double the projectiles for your 5 shots. This means you'll be using 10 shots in one burst. The problem with this is that you can't control it. If you shoot, you're dedicating that shot to 10 of your bullets, and for a shotgun, that is a lot of ammo you're wasting. If you kill a low tier mob and there isn't much of anything around you that's worth using the burst on, then it's just wasted potential and ammo. Compared to Destiny 1, if you kill a mob, you and your whole team can benefit from the increased recovery. The reason I like the Destiny 1 version over the one we have now is that the Lord of Wolves chews through ammo like it's nothing, and the reserves aren't near enough as they should be. I think the base reserve should be increased in PvE for the fact that most shotguns can and will out DPS this gun due to it being a burst projectile weapon that has its bullets spread out over a short period of time rather than a quick blast of damage. But a great thing about Release the Wolves is that if you have good recoil control or high sensitivity, or if you just play on PC like me, you can kill a mob and have a Release the Wolves active, and if there's a group of enemies in front of you, you can just drag your crosshairs over the group of enemies and have that burst of 10 shots pretty much just kill everything in front of you. Also, if you kill a low tier enemy and you see a major or a boss, you can keep shooting long bursts of damage into them and double the speed of the damage output. But this still has the problem of not having enough ammo. I don't think this gun alone is worth having a whole armor set being built around it to try to make it work. If DPS is what you're looking for, then you might want to build it around supers or heavy. And for PvE's sake, I wish this gun had the increased recovery on top of having Release the Wolves, or instead have Release the Wolves more controllable. For example, you hold down the trigger for the amount of shots you want to put out, or just have it shoot 5 rounds and have them do double the damage, or have twice the projectiles for just the 5 bullets. But for PvE overall, it's a pretty good weapon and it's really fun to use, probably one of my favorites just to mess around with. But in PvP, this thing could hold more than its own. It is a shotgun and that automatically means it's a great weapon in the Crucible, damage wise and also ease of use wise. But there is a small skill gap with it, and that is trying to keep your distance, manage its ammo, and controlling the recoil of the gun. It's very much possible to ape with the Lord of Wolves, but if you aren't landing your shots since it is a short burst over time, compared to a single blast of damage, you need to make sure you're landing your shots. But all 3 of these tips need to come together to be able to make this gun work effectively, keeping your distance being the most important. If any good shotgunner is closing that gap, you need to make sure you're backpedaling to stay away, and control the recoil to land your shots, which is ultimately going to shut the player down. But again, the big problem with the Lord of Wolves is the ammo and managing it. You pick up only 2 bursts with this gun, which sometimes isn't enough to kill, but if you have Shotgun Scavenger, that goes up to 20. But Release the Wolves will be a downside in PvP since you're probably going to use a burst or 2 on an enemy, and you'll activate Release the Wolves only to shoot the next guy and be overwhelmed at the recoil and the amount of ammo used, which a lot of the time is going to make you miss or just completely run out of ammo. But the Lord of Wolves allows you to use your vertical space and to be just as quick as a regular shotgun, regardless of if it one-shot kills or not. So don't be afraid to jump over doors or play as if it were a regular shotgun. Unless you're in a duel with somebody using a regular shotgun, then this is where I recommend you keep your distance. The Lord of Wolves does have potential to shut down supers, especially if you have ammo for it and Release the Wolves active, but you have to land all of your shots and majority of them have to be precision hits. But it does do this better than most shotguns that aren't full auto, since the DPS of the gun is higher than, let's say, a 45 or 55 RPM shotgun. And overall in PvP, this is a great gun with a lot of potential, but also its potential is kind of drugged down from its usage of ammo and the ability of competent shotgunners being able to shut you down if you don't read them the right way or play with the Lord of Wolves right. But anyway, if you enjoyed this or found it helpful, consider dropping a like on the video or maybe even a sub to the channel. And I also want to thank you guys for 500 subs. Just a couple of days ago I was at 400 and I really appreciate all of you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.